In Elden Ring, Leyndel Royal Capital contains many missable items and content on the surface level, all of which will be covered in this video. There will be spoilers in the form of important information, and as usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. We'll begin at the East Capital Ramparts. First, pick up a perfume bottle and a Seedbed curse. Both are in the upper floor of the building just past the first lift. This is probably the easiest large Oracle Envoy enemy to farm for the Envoy's Longhorn weapon. It has a low drop rate at a base of just 4%. You can also find the same enemy type at Miquella's Erdtree, although in less convenient locations. This large Oracle Envoy won't spawn in Leyndell after defeating Maliketh The Black Blade in the crumbling Farum Azula, which can also be said for almost everything else covered in this guide. Before heading to the next major item, we'll go and discover the Avenue Balcony Site of Grace. From there, double back to the southeast, then head northeast down the avenue. Once at the end of the avenue, turn to the south and run to the end of the alley where you'll find the corpse variant of the Imp Head armor. Turn back towards the avenue and cross over to the other side, passing a fountain before descending to a lower area on a second lift. Sprint jump across the rooftops to the west and pick the black bow up from a body. Jump off and head through the archway to the west. You'll find a cracked pot to your left as you enter. Continue along the path to reach the Lower Capital Church Site of Grace. On the bed nearby, you'll find Lionel's armor set along with a Deathbed dress. The Omen Killer outside the church will drop the Omensmirk mask when defeated. Drop down the ladder to the north and make your way northeast down the channel. Defeat the sitting Gargoyle at the end, then drop down into the pit below where an Erdsteel dagger can be found. Climb the ladder on the far side of the pit and make your way south to a secluded area with a treasure scarab. It will drop the Thunderbolt Ash of War when defeated. Also nearby is the water well that leads down to the Subterranean Shunning grounds. We'll just stay on the surface for now and make our way up to the West Capital Ramparts. The Shunning grounds are accessible even after the surface of Leyndell has changed. Because of that, I don't think you have to worry about missing anything underground. A Gargoyle mini-boss is located to the south of the West Capital Ramparts. When defeated, it will drop the Gargoyle's Halberd. Find the staircase back near the entrance to the West Ramparts, turn right at the bottom to find a small secluded room where the cane sword can be found. From there, we'll make our way to the fortified manor, which has a striking resemblance to the Round Table Hold. First, we'll head around the south side to gain entry into the upper level, where several unique items can be found in the first couple of rooms. This includes the Sanctified Whetstone, Hammer, and the Buy My Sword gesture. Open the room where you'd find the two fingers were this Round Table Hold. In their place will be the coated sword. Keep heading through the manor to the spot where you'd expect to find the Dung Eater. Instead, you'll find another Seedbed curse. Double back to the smithing room and go down the staircase. Make a sharp left turn and move west through the hall to find the Two Fingers prayer book near a fireplace. Then head out into the foyer. If you spoke with Bernahl after eliminating the first two targets of Volcano Manor to receive the letter to Bernahl, you'll spot a red summoning sign on the ground. Ignore the summoning sign for now and move towards the west corner of the room, picking up Alberich's armor set along the way. The Flightless bird painting is near the fortified manor site of Grace. The scene it depicts can be viewed from the peak to the south of the Windmail Heights site of Grace. When you go to that location, you'll get the Fire's Deadly Sin incantation as a reward. Head back out to the foyer and initiate the invasion at the red summoning sign. You'll need to assist Bernahl in defeating two NPCs, Vargram and Wilhelm. The Raging Wolf armor set is awarded immediately after victory, and you can speak with Bernahl back at Volcano Manor to get the Gelmir's Fury sorcery. Out of the main foyer exit and to the northwest, you'll find a particularly stubborn pair of Leyndell Knights. The one on the ground, wielding a spear and shield, will drop the Gravelstone seal when defeated, which boosts the potency of Dragon Cult incantations. Return to the foyer at the fortified manor and open the doors in the north corner, which leads out to the courtyard. You'll find a single Stormhawk axe against the south wall protected by an Iron Maiden. Grab it and then make your way west where a large lift will take you to safety. You may recognize this area as where the transporter trap chest at the Tower of Return in Weeping Peninsula takes you, and you'd be right. Past the site of Grace, you'll find a dormant golem that will wake when approached, unless you are using the Assassin's Gambit Ash of War, and sneaking might work too. On the north side, you'll find a chest containing the Blessed Dude Talisman, and on the south side, you'll find a transporter that will take you to the isolated Divine Tower. This is the tower where Malenia's Great Ruin is activated. However, for now we'll return to Leyndell, specifically the West Capital Ramparts. Climb up the giant vines to the southwest to reach the Erdtree Sanctuary, where the golden shade form of Godfrey, First Elden Lord, will need to be fought. On a new game, defeating this boss will unlock an additional slot for equipping talismans. Afterwards, discover the new site of grace, then head out the east exit and climb the vines to the upper level. Move out the north exit and turn left, dropping down to a rooftop before heading through a broken window. The Erdtree bow can be found in a chest on the west side of this room. To the south, you'll find a ladder that can be kicked down to make a somewhat useless shortcut, along with a celestial dew. Double back towards the broken window and climb up a new vine to reach the Golden Order Principia prayer book, which is required as part of Corhyn and Goldmask's quest. After getting that, head out the south exit on the lower floor and climb down the vines that initially led you to the sanctuary. Go southwest at the bottom and make your way up the hill leading to the Leyndell Coliseum. There are two duelist type enemies along the path. Both can drop pieces of the duelist armor set. In addition, the first one also has a chance of dropping the duelist great axe, whereas the second duelist also has a chance of dropping the battle hammer. The drop rates are quite low, and unfortunately, these are the only two duelists that can be farmed for these items. And like most other things in Leyndell, they will no longer be available after defeating Maliketh and Farum Azula. Near the second duelist, you'll find the Ritual Shield Talisman, which is quite good. Heading clockwise around the Coliseum, you'll arrive at Corhyn and Goldmask's Leyndell location. They will be looking towards the Erdtree Sanctuary. You'll need to complete the initial steps in Goldmask's quest for the pair of NPCs to show up here. A link to a guide on Goldmask's quest can be found near the bottom of this video's description. Before speaking with either NPC, pick up the Starfist weapon from a body in the nearby alcove. While Corhyn isn't required for the completion of Goldmask's quest, it is ideal for both NPCs to be alive. This step in Goldmask's quest must be done before burning the Erdtree at the Forge of the Giants. Go ahead and give Corhyn the Golden Order Principia, then learn the Law of Regression Incantation. Casting this incantation will be required for Goldmask's quest. If Corhyn is dead in your game, you can always give the Golden Order Principia to Miriel at the Church of Vows to gain access to that important incantation. Also, take note of the intelligence requirement to cast Law of Regression. It's 37. Rebirth may be required to meet that intelligence requirement, and it was for me. Return to Erdtree Sanctuary, memorize the Law of Regression Incantation, and equip your favorite seal. Then head out the west exit and down the lift that follows. Near the foot of the next staircase, you'll find a message on the ground in front of a statue of Radagon. You need to use the Law of Regression Incantation, then read the new message that appears on the ground a short distance ahead. This is the important step for Goldmask's quest, but before we go back to speak with Goldmask, there are two other items we'll want to get near this location. The first is the Barrier of Gold spell. The gold footsteps of an invisible treasure scarab will appear as you run along the path to the north. It will skitter off past a Crucible Knight. The Knight drops nothing more than runes, and if you are evasive enough, you can avoid its attacks and defeat the treasure scarab to get the spell. Following that, sprint jump over the railing to the northwest near the giant spear, and land on the platform below. Carefully ascend the spear to get the Bolt of Gransax, which is one of the legendary armaments. You can drop down on the pavilion below to get a stone sword key, then make your way through a water channel to the northwest, which will take you to a ladder that can be kicked down, ultimately leading back to the lower capital church. If you needed to undergo rebirth to meet the Law of Regression intelligence requirement, now would be a good time to undergo rebirth again, to invest your attribute points back to where you had them prior to the initial rebirth. Afterwards, you can return to Goldmask and tell him your revelation, unlocking the Golden Order Totality gesture and advancing Goldmask's quest. Also, if Corhyn is present, he will thank you and sell 2 new incantations, Discus of Light and Immutable Shield. As a quick warning, going to the mountaintops of the Giants can lock you out of both Latenna's and Yura's questlines if the initial steps in those quests have not been completed. Links to guides on both of those quests can be found near the bottom of this video's description. Right before fighting Morgott in the Queen's Bedchamber, you'll find the Blessing of the Erdtree incantation. If you didn't already speak with Melina at the Minor Erdtree Church, you can do so after defeating Morgott to get the Outer Order gesture. Once Morgott Omen King has been defeated at the Elden Throne, you can open the large pair of doors at the northeast end of the main avenue. This leads to a series of lifts that will take you to the Forbidden Lands, which then leads to the Grand Lift of Rold and the mountaintops of the Giants. Before that though, head along the lower area near the water. At the southeast edge, you'll find another perfume bottle guarded by a misbegotten warrior. Afterwards, double back and make your way up the first lift. You'll then need to cross a large and time-consuming bridge to reach a second, larger lift. Along the way, you can pick up a Flame Drake Talisman +1. At the end of the bridge, you'll find the second lift along with an exit to the southeast that leads to a boss fight and the Divine Tower of East Altus, where Morgott's Great Ruin is activated. Before doing any of that, take the lift down to the Forbidden Lands and discover the Site of Grace. Finally, take the lift back up towards Leyndell and jump off towards an alcove towards the west. You'll find the Blade of Calling in the room that follows. And I believe that covers just about all of the important items and quest steps in Leyndel Royal Capital, missable or otherwise. If you found the detail in this guide to be helpful, then you'll really like my Elden Ring guide series on how to complete all quests in order, along with other missable content. You can find it over on my channel, and if you're new, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Another great way to support the channel is through the Marshmallow merch store. It features professional Elden Ring inspired artwork of your favorite fluffball. Have a great day if you're here today, have a great Wednesday, and as always, thanks for watching.